welcome to Perfectly Balanced Co. If you're new here, welcome. Get yourself comfortable and sit back because we are going to slow down for a little bit and talk about how energy actually shows up in real life. This is the way we like to stay present and connected to ourselves as things shift and change. So today I'm talking about the overall energy of February 2026, what themes we're going to be moving through this month, maybe some emotional patterns that might surface, and how this energy can feel very different depending on the type of person that you are. You don't need to know anything about human design or astrology to understand what's going on today. It's less about taking notes, more about just leaning into what the energy is providing for you in the moment. So if this feels a little overwhelming already, just know that there is no quiz, there's no test, there's no way to fail this video. It's just here to present you with energy and take what resonates and leave the rest. So let's get into it. Let's talk about February a little bit. I'm going to bring up my screen here so you guys can see what this looks like on the human design chart. But again, if you don't know human design, there's nothing here that you really need to follow along with. So right off the bat, we are finishing up the energy that we've been in for the past 6 days, which is 19 and 36. If you were extra sensitive this week, a little bit more emotional, feeling the pressure of your needs being met and others' needs being met, you were right on cue this week. And that pressure wasn't necessarily a take action kind of pressure. It was a pressure to gather the information, to understand what your basic needs are and what is a need that is yours versus a need that is someone else's. And maybe someone else's needs are something that you love to provide. So you could gather some information on, what kind of energy exchange feels really good. Who do I love sharing my energy with? Who do I love receiving energy from? So it was a good time to, and still is for the next little bit, good time to really check in on where do I feel more sensitive? Where do I feel like my needs aren't being met? And this could just be personal. It doesn't necessarily mean needs being met with someone else. But where am I not meeting my own needs in my relationship with myself or my relationship with other people? So that's the last day of this energy today. And then tonight we move into what is going to be the, I would say, basis of the energy for this week and February. So we're moving into 13 and 7. Okay? And what you'll notice right off the bat is that we lose that root pressure. So that pressure to take action that we were talking about a little bit more. This one is giving us a little bit more spaciousness. And it's here to ask us to be a little bit more present with what's happening and to notice these repeating emotional patterns that are showing up in our life. We've had 37 and 40 in transit in the North Node for a while. We'll have it again throughout this month. And this emotional wave is about balancing connection with other people, collaboration with other people, resources with other people as well as ourselves, getting enough alone time, using our resources that we need for ourselves as well, and seeing what we want to contribute and what we want to keep for ourselves. So this is playing around in the background, but because 13 and 7 create this openness and this experience, it's leaving that emotional flare to be the center focus of what's going on. Now, if you do have your chart handy and you have gate 31, gate 1, or gate 33 naturally active in your chart, then you might expect a little bit more vocal or a little bit more of a direction for how this week wants to show up in your life. If you're naturally open here and these gates don't define you, be prepared to just be present with the emotions that are coming up and what's going on, and lean into the little bit of mystery of not knowing where you're going or what the main focus is for this week. Okay? So then we move into, on the 7th, 49 and 4. And 49 and 4 are going to create a root pressure again for the beginning of that week. Okay? 49 is about the collective. It's about creating change. So we're going to be, again, focused on what we need and what others need to create change for the collective. So there's going to be some major shifts happening, some emotional truths coming up, and some relational agreements are going to really come into focus this month. And it's going to kind of help you see that each person shows up with their energy a little bit differently. Each person has their own unique needs, and they work together as a collective. So it's going to be a very interesting week having that 14 and 19 playing out in the beginning of that week. And then it'll move into, again, a little less focus on needs, but still the emotional pressure to figure out what it is that we want in life and how we want to feel. So that's the second week. Then the how we want to feel is going to come more into focus here. That root pressure is staying active, and it will throughout the rest of this week. So by mid-February, life might be asking you to slow down, to listen in the beginning so that you can be more prepared for this week to take a little bit more action. At this point, we're going to be pretty clear on what it is that we want to do and what we want to commit to. And there's going to be a lot of options of things to commit to this week. So it's going to be very, very important that we pay attention to how we want to feel and what we want to create so that we commit to the right things. It's about saying yes to the right things and saying no to everything else so that we can reserve our energy for the collaborations and the impact and the experiences that we want to have. Okay? So then after that, nearing the end of the month, we're going to move into 55 and 59, and that's going to open up the root pressure again. So we're going to go back to sitting back and observing the emotional wave, observing what's going on. How are we feeling? What are the moods that are creating our experience in life? And how do we slow down so that we can stay present instead of reactive? This 55 can really heighten our reactivity or heighten the emotional experience of what's going on. And you can expect some breakthroughs this week on what it means for you to be reactive, how you react to your own emotions, how you react to others. And I would say at the end of this week, it's going to get very clear how those reactions create your experiences, and are they creating what it is that you want to feel. So it's going to give you a little bit of a time to witness the emotions, the wave, the reactivity, or the lack of reactivity, and what it's creating in your life. Patterns are going to become very, very clear here. Okay? And then at the very end of the month, we are going to be doubling down in that 3740 experience. The root pressure is going to come back alive through Mars being in 30 and Pluto being in 41. And the sun experience is going to be focused on the community, and our grounding is going to be focused on taking time for ourselves. So again, a balance between how we want to contribute, how we want to connect, and how we want to take time alone for ourselves. This is going to be very eye-opening. We've been having the energy of being and connecting with other people and taking time for ourselves playing around in the background. But this week, it's going to come right up center. So again, an opportunity to stay present, to pay attention to what's going on, pay attention to who you're connecting to, the emotional responses that you're having, which collaborations are going well or feel good, which ones are not, what patterns want to continue, which ones want to be let go of. And if you are interested in going into this in a much deeper aspect on how this connects uniquely to your chart, you need to join the community, because we are going to go in serious depth here. Daily experiences, weekly experiences, and the whole month experience of how all of these changes show up in each person's chart uniquely. So there'll be a personalized experience inside the community, live updates for February shifts, a Q&A for individual questions, and the ability to have text and voice connection with me as things show up with you. So you get access to all of that. The daily transits and insights and updates will be in the community, and you'll have access to dive in deeper to get more of that personalized exchange. So I hope to see you guys in there, because this month is going to be a really good one to just be aware of what's going on and be aware of what this energy is trying to show you. So if you have any questions, any comments, if anything in particular resonated for you, if there's anything you're really excited about experiencing, anything you feel like this video is showing you that you might experience, put it in the comments below. I'd love to hear how this is impacting you, and I am excited to connect with you guys more.